All right, back home now, the ANC will hold its first NEC meeting for the year to deliberate in Rustenburg on the preparations for the delivery of the January 8th statement. And of course, the party's 114th birthday celebrations planned for the Moruleng Stadium on Saturday. In keeping with tradition, especially in that community, the one-day meeting will be preceded by the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa's meeting with the Kgosi Nyalala Pilane of the Bakgatla tribe. SABC News reporter Samkele Maseko is in the Northwest Province for us. Samkele, a very good afternoon to you. So we know, of course, that the January 8th statement has historically been used to signal policy direction and internal discipline. Beyond logistics and celebrations, what are you hearing, what are you seeing about the real mood inside the NEC going into, of course, this first meeting of the year?
Well, indeed, Unati, the NEC meeting did begin in the morning at about 10 o'clock this morning, where the ANC's National Executive Committee members were looking at a myriad of issues. First and foremost was the preparations for the January 8th statement, fine-tuning it, particularly after they spent this past festive putting in their inputs to the January 8th statement that will ultimately be delivered by the president of the African National Congress. The president of the ANC is currently here now meeting with Bakgatla in this particular area of Moruleng, where he's currently meeting with the chief of the Bakgatla clan at this moment. I am going to now be joined by Pengu, who's a spokesperson of the ANC. Ms. Pengu, just the essence of the meeting of the president with the Bakgatla king.
Part of the ongoing culture of the ANC, tradition of the ANC, to come and pay respects whenever you come to the area that is led by a senior traditional leader. So it's part of our culture. A number of issues are currently being discussed, and I think we will cover that in detail when the president come and says a word to yourselves, colleagues.
When you look at particularly some of the issues in this area of the Northwest, in this community, under the chieftaincy of Bakgatla, Bakgatla, the chief of this particular clan, what are some of the issues that they are faced with in this community? I looked at the roading infrastructure, it wasn't that good. I saw some of the community members going to buy water. What is happening with the water situation in the area? Is it contaminated from the mines, or what's the situation?
One of the things that I can add to what you're saying, Samkele, the matter of the connectivity, poor bandwidth in the area, including where this meeting is taking place. You spoke about the road infrastructure. We spoke about the issues of water security. The ANC, in its discussions with the king, the chief, I will hope that he will reflect on some of those things when he is spoken to. Because the meeting is still ongoing, I really be loath to comment on the actual issues. But the president will do justice to that.
On the issues pertaining to the National Executive Committee, there was an issue of the invasion of Venezuela and the abduction of Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro, who will be appearing in a court in New York later on this evening, 7 o'clock South African time, noon in American time. What is the ANC's posture, particularly when it comes to the issue of Venezuela, which was being ventilated in the NEC earlier today?
Well, the posture of the ANC, again, we are releasing a statement to members of the media this afternoon when the president returns to the NEC meeting, although he will be seeing traditional leaders first. The matter of the posture is better discussed in that statement because we do have a strong comment that we wish to make to South Africans, but also to the people of Venezuela.
So to hear you correctly, the president will ultimately be addressing the NEC in an open session on this particular issue later this evening.
Exactly. And we will be having yourselves up there, and we will continue to inform the nation through the media.
Looking at how tensions are between South Africa and the United States of America, won't this aggravate the situation?
Well, we enjoy the fact that our constitution protects our national sovereignty. When we have a view, we articulate that view.
Thank you very much, Mahlengu Peng. I'm going to bring in Mr. Tumelo Moruleng, who is the spokesperson of the ANC in the province. Mr. Moruleng, just the essence of some of the living conditions of the people on the ground in the Northwest Province. What are some of the pressing issues, particularly around roading infrastructure, water? At one point, Northwest was seen as the king of potholes within South Africa.
I think you'll realize that we've been doing some work across the 4 regions. If you can go to Ngakamudirimolema now, particularly in Mahikeng, there are no potholes anymore. You can go now. We'll be going there tomorrow, you'll see for yourself. But over and above that, we've been having some challenges in municipalities in terms of service delivery as a result of the budget cut since 2023 on October. But we've been trying to resuscitate our infrastructure programs. We have the program called Tuntalero. We've been going to all municipalities across the province, trying to make sure that we fast-track service delivery.
Mr. Marupeng, when you look at the issue of municipalities, particularly go to the Sobotle municipality, had one of the giant companies, particularly within that sector of milk, pulling away from this particular province because of bad roading infrastructure, lack of water, lack of political leadership within the municipalities. Northwest is seen as one of the worst performing provinces when it comes to municipal governance and the FMA within the country.
The Tsobotla story is an old story, to be honest with you, because you'll remember that the provincial government has instituted some intervention there in terms of Section 154 of the Constitution. But over and above that, the national government also intervened in Ditsobotla. So far, Ditsobotla, you have never heard any story about Ditsobotla, I think, for more than 4 months now. So we are stabilizing Ditsobotla. Of course, there were problems of service delivery across South Africa in terms of, as a result of our economic shortfalls in terms of budget, but we've been doing a very lot. You have never heard so many stories. Remember when we arrived, or when we started in 2022 as the leadership of this provincial executive committee, there were about 16 municipalities in terms of the report of the then Nkosazana Dlamini Zuma, which had about 16 municipalities in disarray. We have reduced that number to 5, and we are still working on making sure that we turn around the situation together with the assistance of national government.
When you look at Rustenburg, it's about 15 years on now, still waiting for the BRT to work within that particular municipality. Infrastructure of the BRT is being dilapidated. Millions of monies have been spent. You've had your regional secretary in the Pujanala region and one of the MMCs arrested on alleged allegations of extortion and corruption.
Let's leave the issue of the alleged MMC for the courts to decide whether they are guilty or not guilty for now. Let's not preempt what's going to be the outcome. But with regard to the BRT, you will recall that what had stalled the program initially was the court process of, the court interdict that was initiated by the then company, and that issue has since been resolved. The only thing that is outstanding is the issue of some routes which needs to be resuscitated as a result of some delay, and at the later stage the infrastructure got dilapidated. But it's an issue that has been ongoing in courts. It's now resolved, and we're hoping that at least by the end of next financial year, 26-27, that issue should be in history.
In Madibeng, you had an issue of a dam as far back as the era of former President Mbeki that was meant to be built between the private sector, the mines in the area, working with the municipality to provide water to the Madibeng community. That is still also stalled all of these years on.
You are losing track of the news, and you are a kingpin of the news, because you'll remember the Minister of Water and Sanitation actually went and opened the phase 1 of that project together with the Deputy President sometime early this, I don't remember the date. The phase 1 of that project has been completed.
See, that's the issue. Phase 1, not the entire phases of the dam have been completed, meaning the project is stalled, Mr. Marupeng.
When you say the project is stalled, it means there's no movement. I'm saying to you there's movement. Phase 1 has been handed over to the community. We are receiving water, and they are working jointly with the provincial government of Gauteng, because there's a border that crosses into the site of Hammanskraal and so on. So there's progress. There's something that is going on. It's no longer stalled, if we mean the real meaning of stalled.
The real meaning of immediate. Thank you very much, Mr. Tumelo Marupeng, who's the provincial spokesperson of the African National Congress. President of the ANC will later on this evening speak extensively on the United States of America invading Venezuela, as said by the spokesperson of the African National Congress, Mahlengu Bengu.
All right, thank you so much, Samkele Maseko, there in the Northwest Province for us.